I love you. I thank you. I respect you. I love you. I thank you. I respect you. I love you. I thank you. I respect you. Thank you, love, for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever. Been practicing those little things the last couple weeks, and it really does help me recenter and help me remember what's true, and yeah, just kind of let go of what I think I'm supposed to do, and reminding myself that my presence is enough and I'm enough. But man, there's some things that are so hard to let go of sometimes, like when it's been such a repetitive script, like in the back of my mind. Just that background noise, sometimes amplified, and all, you know, all I can hear are the lies. And so it is such a dance of remembering and forgetting, and it is, yeah, falling apart, coming back together, being separate, and then unifying it all again, and going back and forth, to and fro, ebb and flow. And so, like, the tension of the opposites, and yeah, do I stay or do I go? And just like letting go of overthinking and noticing some things about certain ego strategies and, yeah, unconscious behaviors, replacements, substitutes for what I really, really want to choose for myself. Sometimes, like, just old patterns. And so, just, yeah, like establishing and being initiated into new patterns. And just starting with new practices in the morning. Like, that changes a whole lot of things. Like, that helps me take a lot of pressure off of me, too, and to remember to enjoy and living and enjoy life through, like, my own creativity and through my own passions and through all the things that I love and all the things that I appreciate. And that just turns it all around for me. And yeah, it gives me, like, that coherent focus on the whole, even though I have my challenges and struggles. And yeah, it's interesting today. I was feeling really anxious and a little bit, yeah, kind of timid, and yeah, I don't know, it's like all this stuff snuck back up on me, like with social anxiety and things, but it was just like, okay, and just allow myself where I'm at and accept, that, yeah, just allow it to be exactly as it is, and just work with it, play with it, and yeah, be free with it, let it flow and let it go, and just be here now and open, soften, surrender, receive, and let go. Like, doing my best to be present and, yeah, just relax and let go of the need for approval or validation or acceptance or being liked or pleasing others or pleasing myself or being pleasing or living up to certain false expectations or standards of perfection that, like, I've projected or expected of myself, because I don't expect them of anyone else, like, really, like, unless I've given my power to them in a certain way. And that's when I can see, like, where it's time to reclaim my power, like, through, like, looking at, like, my expectations and all of those things, all those attachments. And so, yeah, I've really been looking into some things and feeling into some things and playing with some other things. And, yeah, receiving, those fun synchronicities and those messages and everything. And one of the things was a quote that I'll put in the description box there. It was like, what do you do to change your mood or to improve your mood, or something along the lines of that. And it was like, do you go for a walk? Do you do yoga? Do you do meditation? Do you talk with a friend? You know, all those things. All those things are good things. They're awesome things. But if all of those things were removed, what would you do? Like, you know, if you're alone with yourself, how could you be with it? So it's just like becoming aware of how often, like, we can be doing and choosing good things for ourselves, but do we use it as a crutch, or do we use it as a band-aid to cover over the pain, or to avoid like certain parts of ourselves or aspects of ourselves, or to avoid, yeah, looking at certain things, or going within and just being and allowing and receiving. Like, really, we don't have to do any of these things. Like, to already be all we are and as we are, and to receive all we need. But sometimes we play games with ourselves and we think we have to be at a certain level, when really it's just like removing the barriers that we've built within ourselves against that like love that we already are and that love we have access to. And yeah, it is interesting though. We just allow where we are, and we can receive like the deepest wisdom and offering it as a gift too, without any strings attached. And like, yeah, it's just amazing really how, if we can allow things to unfold for us and through us, yeah, and see what it really is and what's really being given and what's really being shared, and what we actually, yeah, the fullness that we can receive. And so yeah, this last weekend I've spent some time alone, and I'm usually like never really on my own, maybe for a couple hours or so, but it was really good for me to spend a little bit of time alone. Yeah, and just be with myself, and just to choose certain things like for myself, like where there wasn't like any pressure. Not that I have like a ton of pressure, but the only pressure that I have is the pressure that I put on myself, really. Because I think I'm supposed to be doing something, and something valuable, and something worthy, and something precious, or something grand, or something good enough. And so it's just like, what do I feel like? And just like being drawn to like what I did, and just around the house and cleaning up my space, because I've been like gone most of this month on different trips. And so it's just, yeah, fun just to be glad to be home and settling into my space and freshening it up, and yeah, doing all these things. But just kind of like, yeah, just allowing that flow. And when I was tired, I let myself take a nap, and I was up like way later too that night, or the last couple nights than I usually am, and just got to sleep in, and it's just like, wow, it's like a little solo retreat, really. And so it was good for me, like, to be that hermit, and just like to enjoy being, and not like expecting a reward from what I was doing, but just enjoying the task and the demonstration, the act of care, and then also really enjoying the results. And like, it was just rewarding the whole thing, like, and that's just how life can be, like, in enjoyment, in like just allowing that presencing and experiencing what is happening at the moment, you know, being in the now. So it's like new ways to be, and remembering like that it is like, yeah, that joy and that presence and that play. Because sometimes that's so like difficult or challenging for me to remember that it is like really for the soul's sake, for the soul's like joy of itself and for itself and through itself, like because of the love that it is and the love that life is and the love that we are and the love we get to create. And so like that's the real truth and everything. But yeah, just kind of breaking out of old belief systems and old chains and those worn out clothes, those attachments and those identities and those roles. And what else can I say? Oh, what was it? I was going to share something that I received the other day. It'll probably come back to me. But yeah, it was about living in joy and reminding myself that it is an adventure and that it is fun and it is for pleasure and it is like to share this love for giving. And so it does like take some of that pressure and that tension and melts it away because it is just a play. But then, yeah, I notice I contract in certain ways. And like, yeah, there's that fear and that like kind of slide, that automatic slide into like the ego strategies, the old ego strategies and that contraction. And so just trying to like allowing that and working with that, but like sometimes I get frustrated with myself because I'm just like, you know, like, yeah. But that is like my opportunity to like just practice, apply, and let it go. And so, yeah. I did hear something like super helpful like a week and a half ago on this like very thing about contracting and expanding and how we go through both and they're both right. And we need both and we need that contraction too for integration and for rest and all those things. So it's just like sometimes though like to change our perspective. It was helpful. Sara Vrba offered this in a video, and she, I think, recommended to like kind of look up to the left and then look up to the right, just kind of changing, like widening instead of, yeah, just being in that narrow focus or whatever it is, just to just kind of shake it up a little bit and open up our perception or change that perception. And so just kind of remembering like just simple little things like that and just doing the best where I'm at. So this month has been like super full and so amazing. Really got to start out the month with a Lou and Saw circle with some good friends, and that was so beautiful how that unfolded. And yeah, I still have like this little altar here in my front room space with all these different cards and crystals and candles and symbols and the Holy Grail and a little velvet round, like that is a gift, a little gift to remind us of the presence and the present, the gift of the presence, and cornucopias and little skulls, the life, death, life cycles, and corn because it was the first harvest and the festival of the first fruit. And yeah, just all these reminders of like all this growth and like acknowledging like all of the growth that has happened and that all that has come to fruition and all that is still growing and coming into its peak expression and just seeing like the magic alive in all of us through that love and creative imagination and how like we activate certain things within each other when we're just with each other too, and like when we have those exchanges as well, like, and we're constantly planting seeds. So it is so fun to see like all of these things at play and being, you know, nurtured, developed, refined, and expanded on and grown. So it's like really sweet, the fruits, like of the first harvest, and like watching all that has bloomed and fruited. And so just it is like this, enjoying the sweetness of life and the sweet results, of working together. Yeah, unified. So like be spirit has come up several times, and it is like all about that sweetness and enjoying, yeah, the sweetness of life. And Hummingbird keeps coming up too. She's yeah, she's so radiant and joyful and beautiful and playful. And Bobcat, mystery, like the mystery, oh, embracing the mystery. And Peacock, let it shine, just let it shine. Don't worry about, yeah, how you do it. Just, yeah, feel that joy from within and express that. And, oh, which other one? Oh, Pig Spirit, use your mind wisely. And Parrot, watch your words. And Panther, reclaim your power. It's time to reclaim your power. And so, yeah, just all those good reminders of all those wise teachers. And one more, armadillo, boundaries. And so while working with that too, like in deeper ways too, yeah, like really seeing more into like what those energetic boundaries are, and how I can set them without being defensive at all, and how it is really loving, yeah, to have those in place, and it's honoring of me and the other as well. So seeing more into that, and yeah, is there anything else that wants to be said more about that? I invite to be expressed and come through. So yeah, just super grateful for all these amazing things. Yeah, the Lewin Saw Circle was the beginning of the month, and we had the Lionsgate portal, and all of this amazing, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful fertilizer and stuff come up to the surface. And yeah, I was gonna say furnace, but yeah, some stuff really like to burn away and purify and to integrate. And so yeah, a lot of stuff was stirred up, but it's been really amazing. Like I feel like I've had my ass handed to me in a way, but in another way it's been really beautiful too. So it's been both. Yeah, and certain transmutation like is happening more instantly or instantaneously. Like certain things that would take days or weeks, like are being transmuted in like minutes or hours. And so it's really fun, like to see in certain relationships, like when I shift something in myself and then how I immediately see it or feel it in the relationship. And so that's really fun and magical to see. Yeah, in so many ways with those close to me. And I'm really appreciating and loving that and this new expansion. But man, it has, like, it's just part of embracing that contraction as well. Like, because that's part of the birth process. So, yeah, honoring both and unifying the whole. So, I'll just share a little bit from my journal that I wrote today, August 20th, 2022. Thank you, love, for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever. Thank you for the love I get to be, share, offer, witness, receive, free, see, and enjoy today. Love always, always. The remedy holds the poison, and the poison holds the remedy. The remedy contains the poison, and the poison contains the remedy. I am loved, I am loved, I am loving. I am made of love, I am this love. I know I am this love for thee. Thank you, love, I am just as I am now through all love's ways. Make the room and make the space for love to freely move. Love assurance, us assurance, in our deep knowing of who we really are. Remember and surrender, trust, faith, rest, receptivity, love. I am the power acting. I am the intelligence directing. I am the substance being acted upon. We are that. We are that. That's the Holy Trinity. And this was from Berlando on an Alpha Vedic podcast that I got to listen to today. And I'll put that in the description box. That was really enjoyable to listen to. They were discussing, having a discussion with a chiropractor. And she wears many hats, and I think her name was Devin. And yeah, I'll have to look more at what she's doing. And that was like just really, really juicy to listen to today, and I enjoyed that. And I got to have a little paint pouring class with a friend and her family, and they got to have, a little get together here and have a little cozy, intimate, fluid paint pouring class. And so I enjoyed that and introducing them to that and helping them, just let go, play with paint, and discover their inner artist, and just play. And so that was fun today. So I am super blessed that I get to do all these fun things and offer all this love that is joyful and it's fun for me. And so I do love life, and I thank life for everything. And it does help me put things into perspective of I have no complaints whatsoever. But that doesn't mean there aren't challenges, and there aren't things that hurt and that are asking for healing. But that is just the gift, seeing that, that there is more to love and more to allow and more for us to be in our wholeness, in our fullness, in our sovereignty. So I appreciate all those things and allowing me and we as we are, where we are, however we are, however we get to be. So I've been feeling into a new kind of trust, a new kind of freedom, a new kind of love, a new sense of self-love, a new sense of love, a new sense of self, capital S, self, respect and freedom and love. And it really is all about trust and trusting that life is supporting me and we in all of our growth, expansion, development, and learning, loving, living, being, enjoying, living. Oh, and so, I just remembered the gift that I got to receive last night was a video that I had done with the intention of sending it to a friend for her birthday. And it was for both of us, and it was for the whole. And so, I did want it to be, super authentic, honest, loving, transparent, and all of those things. And I went back to it last night and listened to it, and I was just blown away because a lot of it was what I needed to hear again, for me. And so all of the things that, the messages that have come through me that I have really kind of felt is meant for somebody else or offered to somebody else, it is all for me. And so there is no separation, and it just makes me appreciate so much and value and see just by being and being true to me and honoring my integrity and the integrity of the whole, what beauty and what love really can be offered. And then it's the gift that keeps giving for giving. And so, just feeling a little bit unsure and insecure today. And it's funny how the pendulum swings too, but filling into a new sense of self-worth and self-respect and self-love. But and developing and strengthening that self-confidence, doing my best to let go of all those old cock blocks and those self-doubts that have held me back and suppressed my true voice and my authentic self. So just shedding layers and layers of that, and just experimenting and playing with different things and just watching and witnessing, doing my best, like, to be aware of when I fall into judgment, because sometimes, like, I'm in that place a lot, and it does, yeah, take a little practice not to judge myself for being judgmental, like having the super ego come in and hijack it all, and yeah. It's really silly sometimes, like that. Kind of seeing all the layers and the distortions and all the barriers that I've built against love, like to like, yeah, I thought I was protecting myself really, but it was, survival mechanisms, coping mechanisms, and all those mental strategies and mental hoops and everything. And so it's just like finding my way back home, coming back to the center, remembering I am home, and wherever I am, I am. Yeah. Wherever you are, there you are. Yeah. And so, yeah, a good Lewin saw circle. I'm circling back. We'll circle back around. So, yeah, that was a great way to start the month and inspiring to share with some beautiful women that I just love being with, love sharing presence, space, time, and just love with. And then my husband and I had our 14th anniversary, and we got to go for a little trip just up to the mountains and stay in a cute little kind of like Bavarian type hotel, and yeah, enjoyed that for a couple days. And it was kind of fun, like some of the synchronicities with the numbers, the room number and everything, and like just some of the things we got to experience while we were there. And yeah, then I got to come back home for a couple days and see my granddaughter, and then leave on another trip where I got to go on a women's retreat. And yeah, that was a treat to go to and experience, and to share and give and offer and receive, just through being and through allowing and through accepting, surrendering, trusting that like all was being given that needed like to be. And so just get out of my own way and like kind of just, yeah, really listen and surrender some of these old strategies. And yeah, I could feel myself contracting a little bit, like that first night when I was there. And like I was a little bit tired, and like I am a total introvert, and I do need sometimes my own space to decompress and to process some things, and to recenter myself. When I'm with a group, sometimes I need my own time and space to regroup within myself, because I'm pulled so outward and yeah, into others' fields and things. I'm really yeah, spongy sometimes. And so, yeah, it's been an interesting challenge, like, to find that balance of I'm taking time for myself to be alone and the togetherness time. And so that was great. Like, I feel like that was honored during that time, and it was interesting how it played out. And so it was really cool to see the group dynamic as well, how we first came together, and how it seemed like some of the energies were scattered, like individually and collectively, and how it was like the tension of the opposites playing out as well, and kind of like how there was like little mini power struggles playing out with different things, with different expectations that we have for maybe, yeah, mostly ourselves, but like each other too. And so it was like, and it was just amazing, really, how everything unfolded. And so this first night, we went out to this beautiful backyard that we were staying in, of this B&B, and half of us like sat down on the grass in like a half of a circle, and the other half, I mean, like, yeah, there's a couple few that were sitting on the porch in chairs, like in the other half of the circle, and it was like kind of like its own like separate circles, but they were like open, and they were like there was like that open space for them to become merged. But it was interesting how on one side, um, the group that was sitting on the lawn could hear my friend who was leading the retreat. They could hear her um, prompts with the meditation and visualization and everything. And it seemed like everybody on the patio, like, they weren't able to hear, and they were having like their own quiet conversation over there. And we could see this huge reflection of the moon, and like it was just like super intense, like all the things, like with just all the celestial conversations going on, and then like a feeling into like everybody else's stuff, plus with the what was going on with the group as well. And so what I needed to do was just kind of remember to recenter myself, not worry about what was going on outside of me, because sometimes, like, yeah, that's where my attention goes, was like checking in, kind of scanning the environment to see like yeah, like where the energies flow, and or it's just like some kind of automatic thing that I have like kind of slipped into sometimes. But just like reminding myself to come back to my friend's voice and what, receive the messages that she was sharing, and just like feel and pay attention to my breath, and like let go of the rest, like, because like in a way it was distracting in a little bit, in certain ways, um, that we weren't like all together in a group all focused, like, and so it was just like, where do I put my attention? It's just like, oh yeah, right here where I am. And so like feeling that scattered energy was a little chaotic, but then I was just like, oh, it must be because I'm scattered within myself, so come back. And the meditation was actually about rooting in, and so that was a beautiful thing, and I was happy to receive that. And yeah, just couldn't really sleep that night, and I was on my period, and like it was like the most challenging heavy flow days during that time that I got to be on that retreat. And I just didn't feel well in the morning at all, and I just felt so drained and so depleted and so exhausted. And we were meant to go to a silk painting workshop that day, and I had done that the last year for my birthday, and that was so beautiful, and that was like just the most awesome birthday gift and birthday trip, that I've had like in my adult years. And so it was like something I just so super appreciated and wanted to experience, like this, gathering again, and just spending time with these beautiful women that I love and appreciate and admire and just love, and sharing time and presence, and learning like so much from them, and learning about myself when, through my relationship with them. So it's just like the coolest thing and the biggest gift. And so I just knew that I didn't have like that stamina for what was going to be required of me for that workshop, because it took a lot of concentration and focus and coordination and everything. And I just felt, oh, I just really need some time to rest and to sleep, and really kind of, yeah, introvert and honor like what is being asked of me. And like I really had expectations about, yeah, like, because I was super excited. I had picked out some tree goddesses for my inspiration of what I wanted to paint, and um, yeah, I knew like that there are other expectations too, of course. Like, and my friends wanted me to be there with them too, and I was afraid of disappointing in a way, and being disappointed. But it wasn't like about what my ego wanted, really. It was really about what my body needed and my soul needed. And so I listened, and I just told my friend, I'm really sorry. I'm not feeling like well at all this morning. I didn't sleep. I'm just exhausted. I'm so fried and I can't, yeah, I just know my limitations, and I just know it won't be a good thing for me to like push it and to force myself to, to push through this. And so she's like, okay, well, we'll miss you. Maybe you can get a couple, hours of sleep and come back and join us at lunchtime. And I thought, yeah, maybe I can. Maybe I can do that. But I'll see. I'll play it by ear and see like what happens and what gets to be. And so just like kind of surrendering like all those expectations and what it needed to be, and like actually doing that, like, it freed up so much energy, and I could visit and enjoy yeah, my time with the group before they left for that silk painting workshop. And then everybody left, and I was at home alone in this little B&B, and it was quiet and just like really cozy. And I got to like just sleep for a couple hours, and it was so what I needed, and just to relax. And I was just like laying in this little bed and just like feeling like, oh, just let it go, and just like relaxing my body in certain ways that I hadn't been able to before, and just like kind of, yeah, letting certain energies move through me that have been stuck for a long time, and just not attaching any stories or any like kind of description about what I was experiencing or feeling. And it was so cool how that synchronistically aligned and lined up with the cards that I had drawn that morning with the group. And one of them, I'll have to look, I think it was The Enchanted Map by Colette Baron Reed. One of them was Deep Freeze, and the other one was Wizard of Awareness, and the other one was Wishing Well. And so, like, all of those things that had, like, yep. So the Deep Freeze. The deep freeze was all about yeah, trust, that this is for your highest good. It's not recommended to push through anything. You need to rest and relax, and self-care is at utmost important right now. So like pushing anything or forcing or manipulating anything is not going to work in your favor right now. And so it's just like, just let go. And so it's just like a confirmation of, oh my gosh, yeah, that's funny. And it's telling me, yeah, reaffirming like for me, like that it's okay for me to let go, and to disappoint or to be disappointed, and just to let go of like what the plans were, and listen and receive like what's really being offered to me. And so I feel like that was a huge gift for me, and it was a good gift for the group as well, like, giving myself my own permission to kind of let myself off the hook, and do what I needed to do for me, choose what the love I needed for me, for my well-being. And so and then the Wizard of Awareness was asking me to um, let go of always defining my experience, because it's preventing me from fully experiencing the present. So yeah, it was super interesting, like, to get those messages. And then the wishing well have to refresh, but yeah, I'm sure it was a good one. But yeah, that was kind of fun. Like the whole weekend, how we would start like the morning with a card, and like how everybody's card like related to everybody else as well, and it was so cool how it was expressed. Um, yeah, through ourselves, or how we could apply it to ourselves, but also like everyone else and the whole group. So it was like super fun, like all those little things and synchronicities, and actually like all the energies at play that came in to, like, by the third day, like everything had shifted and everything had unified and everything like had like balanced and harmonized with the group and the group dynamics, because there were certain things kind of coming up to the surface to be seen. And it was like practice non-attachment and or detachment, and have that compassion, have ruthless compassion, and don't take anything personally, and like all of these things, and just being able to be in that space and that presence, and let go of how I thought I was supposed to show up and be, really and letting go of the old strategies of like caregiving and giving, and actually like receiving what was being offered to me. And I did get like a massage like that night that I missed the workshop. And yeah, it was like one of the best things ever, just to be loved and to be supported and like to allow others to give and be that hospitality and that generosity, and through that receptivity. So that was really super cool, like for me, and also like giving in the ways that I could give too, and just by being, and yeah, not having to effort, like really. So this is good stuff. And so enjoying just all the love I get to be, and what I received was exactly what I needed. And like even the uncomfortable stuff that, yeah, not like I was like I wasn't super triggered on this trip at all, like really, but there was certain things that kind of like showed me like, oh, there's a little wound there, like that needs a little love and attention, you know. And like certain judgments would come up, but it would really show me where I haven't accepted, or where I have rejected myself, or where I haven't fully claimed my own power in certain ways. And so I was always, yeah, super grateful to see certain things reflected to me, and like becoming aware of certain projections that I've had, and yeah, that are like just, yeah, false distortions of an old self-image. And so of what's not acceptable, or maybe just like certain parts that didn't have a place and were coming up to be seen, because like it is time for them, yeah, to fall into place and to have their space. So making the room and making the space for it all to be, and to be in transition and everything. So what I got, yeah, from that video, self-respect, self-esteem, self-worth, like is the most, yeah. I'll have to go back and listen to it again too, because it was exactly what I needed. And so it helped me, because I've been seeing into some of these things about thank you, life, for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever. How to unify like all those things, and like recover from that sting, that wasp sting, and turn that story around for myself, in knowing like that the relationships that needed to end in certain ways, or the dynamics needed to change, and so there needed to be a separation, a form of separation, like that did hurt, and that did bring up like a lot of like regrets, and like some guilt and some shame from like old programming, and old toxic relationships, and uh, past uh, past wounding and persecution and different things. And yeah, I can see a lot more around all those relationships that did really show me where I had abandoned me, or rejected me, or not fully claimed like my own energy. And so like really being and feeling like really more open and expansive about, and accepting about really the gifts that those really were, even though like it was uncomfortable, and it really did like sting. It did hurt my heart, and it did sting my ego, like, yeah. And so like a lot of that was just going through certain layers of seeing like how I was perpetuating my own suffering by telling that story, um, of lack and victim, through that victim mentality. And yeah, that orphan, that was so sad and so alone and so bad. Yeah, just not enough. I couldn't make everyone happy couldn't be everything for everyone, you know? And it's like, yeah, it's just like interesting to kind of shift into like just being okay as I am, no matter if I'm disappointing someone else or kind of letting myself down or my super ego. Yeah. Yeah. Letting that, like, some of those old silly beliefs go and remembering that I don't need to be in control. Oh, yeah. And that was another thing. Watch. That was the message. It was like, watch the miracles unfold without any of your direct influence. And I was just like, oh. Yeah, I kind of see that. I feel that. So I can just let go because anything that's really meant for me, I'll receive. And anything that's meant for anyone else, they'll actually receive when they're open to receiving it. And it was like, along with this message of ruthless compassion as well, like really kind of sacrificing that ego or what other people are going to think, really, and operating from that place of authenticity. And so, and transparency, and just like, yeah, trusting like what is unfolding without, yeah, me having to manipulate anything or push my own agenda or any of that, like interference. So it was like really amazing. So, what else can I share about this month? So, letting all these old beliefs, attachments, perception roles, stories, and identities, false concepts, separate ways of relating, seeing, or operating, play acting, letting go, I let go. Letting go of giving to get, letting go of scorekeeping and tallying, measuring, appraising, and predetermining. Letting go of surety, rightness, wrongness, and certainty. Preconceived notions, judgments, descriptions, predictability, security. Anticipating or avoiding, responsibility or discomfort, pain. Yeah, through that receptivity, generosity, hospitality, letting it be, receptivity, allowing acceptance and presence, unity, clarity, peace, and responsibility, forgiveness, justice, love, harmony, strength, grace, play, receptivity. Allow yourself to be yourself just as you are, right now, and now, and now, as you are. Relax into love, into life. Relax and allow love to be and move freely. Relax into love and be free fully, holding and releasing the tension of the opposites. Have fun. Remember, this is a play. Love always. I open my heart wider. I am safe right here. Everyone is right as they are on their journey. I allow others their fullness and all they are and get to be right now. I choose to see innocence and the best in every being and see them as they are and allow them to be who they are and get to be. I don't need to prove my value or worth, my legitimacy. Show up and be myself. Show up and love myself. Show up and free myself. Show up and enjoy myself. And all this love I get to choose for my whole self and well-being. Trust, love, soften, open, and be free. I am no more and no less than the birds, bees, sunshine, trees. I am a part of everything. I am, I am, I am. I am love, I am loving, I am loved. I am love, I am love. I know I am. Thank you, life, for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever. Letting go of limiting beliefs. Letting go of limiting beliefs. How is this love for me? How is this happening for me and we? How can I see this as love for me and we? What is the gift and opportunity? What is love offering and asking me? What can I let go of to be at peace with where I am right now? What can I let go of to be at peace with me, with all of me? What barriers can be removed or can just be allowed to fall away? Where have I been in resistance with myself? Where have I withheld love for myself? And what pain or old identities have I been holding on to? Yeah, so the martyr, the scapegoat, the caregiver, the detective, the hunter, and the mystic. There's disempowerment stories, the spiritual ego or the superego and victim mentality at play, low self-worth programming and conditioning, persecution wounds and emotional, mental, psychic manipulation, trauma loops, the shadow side of the one way to be, telling all the stories or the story of how much it hurt to be sting or to feel the sting. What new true stories can we write, rewrite, or authorize and bring into being through like loving our being, through being the love that we are? The nun, the saint, the guru, the leader, oracle, the poet, the lover, the mystic, the mother, the father, the child, the midwife, the queen, the king, the scorned one, the chosen one, the handless maiden, the wanderer, the wild mother, and the homecoming. I am of both worlds, maiden mother crone, the rose. Two black crows and one white dove putting on a show, magic, mischief, and innocence, amazing grace, joy, trust, faith, and receptivity, presence, truth, beauty, and simplicity, gratitude, wholeness, fullness, no-thing, everything, appreciation and humility, remembering and becoming through being one as we are. Wow. It's time to let go. The Wizard of Awareness asks you to give up your need to define or limit what you're experiencing now. It's all good. Let it be and watch the miracle unfold without any direct influence from you. From The Enchanted Map by Colette Erin Reed. So trust love to work through me and we. I open my heart wider and I am safe right here. So funny, I'm always trying to define my experience and it prevents me from fully experiencing presence, limiting my experience. The Wizard of Awareness. So trust my good and my growth. Deep freeze. Everything has its season. Now is the time to put activity on hold while you rest. Time for regeneration and hibernation. Forgo ambitious activity. Allow a pregnant pause. A pregnant pause allows ideas to gestate and projects to shift and to change and relationships to go through a dreamy state of being, not going anywhere, not needing to. So trust. Let go and trust. It's time to put all your arguments on ice. Nothing beneficial will come from them. Self-care is the most important right now. So reflect, rest, and dream, and take a break, please. Ruthless compassion and holy law. Super interesting sync winks. Death of the ego, shamanic rebirth. Surrender, surrender, rebirth. So when in the circle we are all equal. No one is in front, no one is behind, no one is beloved, no one is above. No one is below. I release control and surrender to the flow, the beginner's mind, and the full. Invite the story to be told through you. Invite love, joy, magic, and beauty to work through you. That's who you are. That's all you are. That's what you are. All for you. Perfect harmony, broken open, and waking the lion. We can reclaim our power and our purity. And there is this awesome gift that I got to receive on the last night of our retreat. And I was feeling like super tired, and we did a lot that day. And so I was kind of like feeling a little fried and needed to do like some introverting. And like some of me just wanted to sit with the group, but not like really have to do anything. Like kind of just wanted to more receive. And so, yeah, there were some interesting things that came up around that. In certain ways, kind of feeling like a little bit of certain expectations or pressure or judgments around how I was supposed to show up and participate or how it was supposed to be. And so it was good for me to see those things and look into those things and see what was mine and what was not mine too. And so I am glad that I did sit with the group, even though it was kind of a lot longer of a session than I would have preferred. And so just kind of letting go of my preference or how I thought I was supposed to feel to be able to receive, what was being given, what was being offered, and on so many levels, in so many ways. But there was the artist that came that had taught the silk workshop, and she came to hang out with us and have dinner and do a little drum circle and just a little sharing and stuff. And we had all drawn a card and gone through the whole circle and shared different things. And then she wanted to share like a little nugget that she's been working with. And it was really cool on how to rewrite some new stories and actually change our perception of like our own circumstance, and like through like that power that we have of creating like this, and yeah, creating a unified reality through our thought and our feeling and our belief about what we're experiencing. And yeah, it is, and it's just like all about our attitude, changing our attitudes. And I really liked how she expressed it. And yeah, what I got from it was that like there is like the fact of like this circumstance, and we kind of make it into a story of it's bad or it's good, and it's like that maybe story. Because it's both this and that, and it's like all about where we direct our energy and how we respond to it and how we use it. And so really she gave an example of like a circumstance and like something that everyone can relate to. And so it's like you're driving in a car, you're stuck in traffic, you know, it's throwing you behind schedule of what, you know, you had to do, and all of these things. And so you can either be angry about it and stressed about it, or like, yeah, you can change your mind about like what it is and what it has to be, like through like the thought, and then like how we feel about it, and then we create a different result. And so it was really cool to receive that, and yeah, and just play with all these things, and just being the bridge and knowing that I am of both worlds, and harmonizing like the two within me, and letting them work for me, and letting them work through me, and letting love like, yeah, unfold in all of through that mystery. And so my husband just got home. I heard the garage door open. So I'm going to say goodbye, and I love you, and thanks for listening. Hope you're being love for yourself, and hope you're enjoying a magical month of August, and yeah, all this beauty during this time of change and transformation and awakening and initiation. So all this beauty, yeah, that we get to receive and get to realize. So love y'all. Talk to you soon. Hey, bye.